Hey, Scarefist, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. This week, I want to take a time machine and we're going to go back a little bit. 1989 gave us Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, UHF, Ghostbusters 2, Batman. I could just go on and on and on. We did a Bonehead episode about it. But what I find fascinating, and this has happened several times throughout Hollywood, is that there were competing pictures, movies out there that dealt with the subject of being underwater. Now, we've done that later in the 90s. It was Dante's Peak and Volcano, dealing with volcanoes erupting. But this time there were three movies, and they all came out in 89, one in January, one in March, and the other one in June, July. One of them was really famous. It's The Abyss. It's Cameron's. August, I'm sorry, it came out in August. And most of you know about The Abyss. There's Abyss, aliens living in it. It's not so much a terror picture, but the other two are. The first one was in January, and it's directed by Sean Cunningham. And it's about these Navy people who are down below setting up nuclear missiles, and it's called Deep Star 6. And Sean Cunningham gave us Friday the 13th. He directed the original, produced a bunch of the sequels. Deep Star 6. Is it good? It's okay. It has some scenes in it I like. The monster is okay as long as you don't really see it too much. But it has Greg Evigan, one of my favorite character actors of all time, Miguel Ferrer. Should you see it? The cool thing about these movies are that they're all, if you have Prime, they're all available on Prime. You can watch them on Prime. Deep Star 6 is a lot of fun. I have fond memories of it. It's not a good movie in any way, shape, or form, but it's got a monster. It's underwater. It's not as good as Underwater, which I've talked about on here before. Underwater is better than all three of these movies, but it's underwater. So if you like Underwater Monster, check it out. The other one, my favorite, The Abyss is the best film out of these three, but my favorite is Leviathan. Leviathan came out in March. Once again, all these underwater movies all came in without 7 or 8 months of one another. It's directed by George P. Cosmastos. Now, he's now passed on. His son, Pan, is a fantastic director. If you've ever seen the Nicolas Cage movie Mandy, made that. He also went on to make Tombstone and a great movie called A Runaway Train. And this is written by David Peoples. David Peoples wrote Unforgiven and also worked on Blade Runner. Leviathan. Now this one's got an all-star cast. All these guys and gals are stuck at the ocean. They're drillers. They're for natural resources, oil, whatever. It's got Peter Weller, Richard Crenna, Daniel Stern, Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, Hector Elizondo, Meg Foster from They Live, Evil Lynn from Masters of the Universe, the one with the great eye. She's been at Scarefest before. And they find this submarine. It's a Soviet submarine, and they sneak out vodka. They found some vodka. They're not supposed to drink it. A couple of them drink it, a bunch of them drink it. It basically has this creature that turns into a monster and mutates. And the problem with this movie's got an all-star cast. Like I said, Peter Weller is one of my favorite actors. He was RoboCop. It has real pedigree when it comes to the writing. The director is a known filmmaker who's made a couple really good movies, but the monster sucks. And it's hard to explain the monster. It's hard for me to explain the monster. It's a mutant creature that starts with people and then kind of builds from it. It never quite explains it. It just the monster sucks. So should you check out Leviathan? Yes, I love Leviathan, even though I know it is an extremely flawed movie. But I really have a special place in my heart. Plus, it's got the coolest name. Actually, out of The Abyss, Deep Star 6, and Leviathan, Leviathan is the coolest name. Deep Star 6 is second coolest because Deep Star 6 is also a cool name. Actually, The Abyss is the least cool name out of all these. So check out Leviathan if you like underwater movies. Actually, Underwater, once again, Underwater, best underwater film. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Thanks for time traveling with me.